Hi, and welcome to 30 Second Success Connect, where we introduce entrepreneurs who love to connect and lead with their hearts. I'm Laura Templeton, founder and CEO of 30 Second Success, and with me today is one of my favorite people, my editor and publisher, Deborah Kevin, and she absolutely loves helping visionary entrepreneurs attract their ideal clients by tapping into and sharing their stories of healing and truth. She's a member of the Independent Book Publishers Association, Association of Writing Professionals, Association of Ghostwriters, that sounds like fun, Editorial Freelance Association, and the National Association of Memoir Writers. Her passion includes travel, cooking, hiking, and kayaking. She lives in Maryland with her family and a puppy named Fergus. Welcome, Debbie. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm excited to share you with my audience.
I am so thrilled to be here. Thank you, Laura, for asking me. You know, you're one of my favorite people, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's such a pleasure to be here with you. I've been so excited about, just sharing people with my audience and helping people to understand that this is just another way for us to help one another, is by sharing what people do, the people that make a difference in your world, right? So let's talk about how you and I met.
Well, isn't it fascinating that we were actually connected? We were referred to one another, if you remember, and both of us use the same photographer who we just love. Shout out to Brenda Jankowski. She, I guess, was with you at a networking event, and then she reached out to me and she said, I think that I have someone that you really need to meet. And she did an email introduction, and the rest, they say, is history.
Yes, and it's been a great history already, right?
Yeah.
We've done some really cool work together. I've gotten to know you in the time that we've worked together, and I just absolutely admire everything that you're doing and the things that you're accomplishing. I know my book, and I am so blessed and honored that my book was actually the first book published under your brand new press.
Yes.
So tell me how that's going. How's your launch for Highlander Press? And what's happening with that?
Yeah, so I just want to shout out and say thank you for even offering to be that first, I don't like to use the word guinea pig, but the first beta tester of the processes, which I think we recognize when, I would say, considering everything we were all learning on the fly, it was great. So I really genuinely appreciate your trust and your forbearance and grace. That's a huge blessing, of course, in anybody's life, but especially mine. And so how's it going? Well, we have 4 books already published, with 3 more in the works. I think actually 4 or 5, hink, wink. And so I was originally going to do an official launch actually this week. And we were pretty much ready for that. But with everything going on in the world, I really wanted it to be a celebration. And so although the press isn't, we haven't partied like it was 1999 yet, we will this fall. And but everything else is moving forward. We're just, doing our best, editing the best books, bringing the best books in, really looking to help people share their stories in a way that helps them serve exactly the right people in the world. And that's been my mission all along, although I was really reluctant to own it. But it's actually one of the greatest gifts that comes to me to be able to do that. So that's where we are.
That's wonderful. And it's such a blessing. I'm so excited. I didn't realize you have 4 books published already.
Yes, I know.
And that's just since January.
Since January, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because mine came out the end of January.
End of January. We had one in January, one February 4th, one February 24th, and one on March 24th.
Wow, that's wonderful. It must be something with those dates, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm telling you what.
And that's just it. I love the fact that Brenda thought enough of both of us and realized that our personalities were so such a good fit.
Yes.
To work together, that I think the synergy was there right away. I was like, just send me a contract. I'm already signing it before I even see it. So, everything just worked out so beautifully. And even though you say about being the beta tester, I really relied on you for a lot of the knowledge about publishing, because I wasn't really sure which way to go. We had several conversations about whether to go self-publishing or publishing under a publishing house, and that's how it kind of came about. Like,
exactly.
well, if you want to wait, I'm launching my press, and I'm like, okay, yeah, let's talk about that. And I think it was a really good experience, and one that I've been able to share with other people in my network now, who are also publishing books. So you may have more people calling you soon.
I'm so ready. Yeah. And it's really lovely to hear that, because, taking what I was already doing with helping people self-publish, I was able to recognize the pros and cons of that, but then also take that process and say, how do we want to make it feel for people to publish? Because let's be honest, and you experienced this as well. Anytime someone, even those of us who are professional writers, but especially entrepreneurs who are committing their very unique ways of being in the world and sharing their stories and sharing their brilliance, there's this sense of, who am I? I call it the fraud factor, where it flies. And the closer you get to your publication and launch day, the prouder it flies and the louder it shouts in your ear. And to be able to recognize that and also say, hey, you know what? That's normal. And we're going to hold hands metaphorically, and we're going to get through this together and celebrate, because every step along the way is a celebration point, whether it's just committing to doing it, whether it's the writing every day, whether it's the editing, every step along the way deserves a recognition, a celebration. And so many times in our lives, we just sort of think it's the destination that matters, but it's the every step through it. And I think you said, you felt held. And to me, that is the greatest compliment that anyone could ever give me as a publisher.
It's true. And that's just it. When I went from saying that I was publishing a book to actually being able to say I've published a book, the world changed. And you're right, that the confidence level really kind of went through the roof. Like, okay, I finally did it, because that was what I had expressed to Brenda when she introduced us. It was like, I'm so tired of hearing myself saying I'm publishing a book, because I was stuck in the process.
Sure. And
you got me unstuck. You really took me from that place of insecurity of like, really, is this a good book?
Right.
Are people going to want to read this? Is this, and does it make sense? In my head, it made sense, perfect sense, but I wasn't sure. I was very unsure if it would make sense for other people. So you really helped me through that process, and I think that's one of the biggest things I'm able to share with my network. And there's so many amazing people out there that have so much to give and so much to share, that helping them understand the process that I went through now opens the door for them to be able to work through it as well.
Well, thank you. And so the thing that always strikes me when I get somebody like you, who really, you have a very unique way of helping people share their message, their 30-second message with authenticity. And we've all had, here's the formula, do it this way. But you kind of turn that on its head. And to have the opportunity to read something, and it was funny, Laura, because not only as I'm editing your book, I'm learning and putting things into practice, but the person who did your layout said the same thing. She's like, this book, laying this book out changed my life. The cover designer, same thing. They're like, this book actually really makes a difference. And so when you can impact people who are in the process with you, that's only a microcosm of the importance of what you're doing in the world. And you do it with the 30-second speech, but other people do it in other ways. And it doesn't make other people's perspectives different. It's just, this is your unique take on it. And to have the courage to bring it to life and say, no matter what, I know, I trust that this is going to be, and we all falter. I call it getting stuck in the molasses swamp, and we need somebody with a hand to pull us out, or to say, hey, I got you, let's go.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. And, and I love, that's the other piece, when I talk about the fact that you brought a whole team with you. And that's a huge testament to the way you network, because I've actually recently joined you on a virtual networking group and found that half of that team is on this.
Yes.
So I got to meet them face to face, after having worked with them, and it's a beautiful thing when you have a team of people that are in your network. So talk about how you utilize networking to actually help you run your business as well as help you grow your business.
Yeah, it's a really, really great point. And I'm part of one of the best networking organizations, bar none. No offense to anybody, but this group of women, we have a very similar sensibility and a sort of outlook on life. And so I had a point in my business where I was the bottleneck. At one point I was doing everything, designing, doing layout. And so I got to a point where I had to decide, do I want to grow? How do I want to grow? And in that process, I identified the parts that really light me up. And I took my process and said, here's how I can carve it out. And so even in the project management software that I use, I broke the tasks down and then thought, well, who do I know who I want to develop relationships with? And so I literally got on did one-on-ones with people who, as they were talking in this network and other networks that I have, and just said, let's talk about, here's what I'm trying to accomplish. I don't want employees. What I want to do is build a web of connections so that as my business grows, your business grows, and vice versa. So you refer somebody to me for the editing. You might be the person doing the layout. This person might be doing the cover. There's another launch. There's all of it. But at the same time, we're a web of, no offense to men, but right now I'm working, I do publish men, but we're women who are working together, and we each have our niche. And if I wasn't networking, I would be in a very different place. It's building the relationships that you talk about in your book, like really building the relationships and figuring out what works for each of us, and then how we can leverage each other's skills to make something greater.
And that's beautifully said. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that, because yes, I like that you liken it to a web of people. Yeah. That's what a network really is. It's, having those people in your hip pocket that you can rely on to help you do the things that you need to do and trust that they'll get it done. Exactly.
Yeah. Because it's your clients who are impacted, right? So that does take a whole level of trust and relationship building to get to that point. It's like, look, this is my client, and I have a certain standard that has to be met. Like, it's non-negotiable. And so finding people who have that same sort of sensibility, that they go above and beyond every single time, and that's what makes it so much fun.
It does, especially when you have other people. Entrepreneurs have a tendency to, we kind of are working on our own. So when you have other people that you can partner with, it does make it more fun, because there's a different creativity that comes into play when that happens.
Absolutely.
That's a beautiful thing. So you had mentioned this fabulous network that you've now invited me into.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that. Talk a little bit more about your networking. I know that you obviously, this online group is phenomenal, and I absolutely love Jill's group. And thank you again for inviting me. But do other types of networking that you do? Share a little bit about that. How did you meet Brenda?
Gosh, I met Brenda at the beach, and it was a friend of mine who I think you also know, Jen Klein Clark.
Yes.
And she invited me to parents' beach house for a weekend, and we were just going to kind of work on our businesses. We just wanted to unplug and do something a little bit fun. And I think she had several people invited, but the only other person who came was Brenda. And it was in the course of it, we each just we got together for meals, and we would talk in the night, and we would share our stories, business, personal. And, I'm kind of an introvert. And so there are two people besides Brenda, who've been able to take really great photographs of me. One is my father, who's a photographer, and my son, Jack, who's an artist. And the two of them just have this way of capturing me. And so I've had other photographs taken, but they never quite got me. And there was something about Brenda that I thought, I'm going to give her a shot. So I came up, I wanted it to be outside. I pushed her a little bit. I'm like, I really want to be in Bucks County because that's where I'm from. I really want to be outside. I really want it to be in the fall. I had all these props that I wanted to use. And she played with me. And it ended up being one of the most impactful days because the way she saw me changed the way I saw myself. And I just love her work. I love how she can catch me with my most impish look, but it doesn't come across as being, well, I am irreverent. So she captures my irreverence, my playful side, the feminine and the masculine, all of it together. I don't know how she does it, but she just has a gift.
She does. You're absolutely right. And I love that about her too. I always enjoy working with her. It's just, she's done all my business photographs and things at this point. And I don't know if I would ever use anybody else.
I know.
Like if I ever go somewhere else, I'm going to have to take her with me.
Exactly. I think she's up for that.
Never go anywhere else. So yeah, and that's, there's so much to be said for, again, here was an opportunity for you to connect with other women, and it winds up being you, Jen, and Brenda. Like out of all the people. Right. And then Brenda and I happened to be, we were accountability partners. So I was frustrated, and I was like so tired. I said to her, I'm so tired of hearing myself saying I'm publishing this book. I need help. Right. And she's like, I have the right person for you. And I think it was right after she had come back from doing a photo session for you in Maryland.
Right.
And, and then and she was right. She was right because, and I think that there's a lot to be said for your network. When you spend time together, you do get to know one another on a totally different level, and you understand personalities. And Brenda's really good at that. And she even admits that she works really hard to know people. But I think that's the value that a lot of people miss in networking. It's right? It's that time that you need to spend with people in your network to really understand who they are.
Can I share a really embarrassing story?
Sure.
In the very beginning when I first networked, because again, I'm an introvert, and the first several networking meetings I went to were all women, high level, attorneys, very high professionals. And I was a corporate executive, so I'm not intimidated by that, but it was such masculine energy. And I think you probably understand what I mean when I say that. It's not bad or good. It's just different. Like it's more like in your face, like, what are you going to do for me? Here's my business card. Let's set up a lunch. And it was just it was exhausting. I literally had to come back and take a nap. And I didn't know. And so what I started to do, and I knew I needed to network, but I would go and I'd stand by the food table. And when I'd be like stuffing the cheese in my mouth because I was so nervous and so uncomfortable with that energy. So a friend, a mentor of mine said, look, here's how you can be successful as an introvert. She goes, I know something about you, Debbie, is that you love to entertain. You love welcoming people into your friendship, into your family, into your home. She says, do this. Go to that same meeting where you've been not feeling so connected. Stand at the front door and act as though you are the hostess of this event and greet people as they come in. And you'll pay attention to people's energy as they're coming in, just saying hello, and make one or two people that you want to make sure that you deeply connect with during that next hour. sit with them at lunch, really talk to them, then make follow-up calls and just get together. It's that follow-up piece where you really get to know people. 30 seconds, if you do it right, gets people's interest. But it's really going that step further. It's like, all right, tell me really what it's like when somebody's working with you. Who is a really good fit? Who's not a good fit? So, yeah, I was the cheese stuffer.
And, and I love that that you openly admit that you're an introvert and you figured out a way, or actually someone helped you, someone in your network helped you figure out how to overcome that.
Yeah.
And it has obviously made a big impact on your life and changed the way you do network, and you're way more comfortable with networking. So simple, that is a very simple way. And that's one of the things that I share in my book is that follow-up system, it is so key to connecting and really being intentional. Introverts, actually, I think introverts network way more successfully than extroverts do, because introverts are very specific. They have a reason why they're going to a meeting. They are very specific on who they want to get to know. They take the time to get to know those people, because there's that sense of security when you are more comfortable getting to know the people in the room. And it helps you to open up more.
Well, and I don't know if you've had this experience where I was part of a networking organization, and it was very much referral based. Like they counted how many referrals you gave, how many were good referrals, all of those things, papers passing back and forth. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of pressure to use only people in that room. And I have made the mistake of referring people in that room that I hadn't vetted myself. And that's a surefire way to ruin relationships, be embarrassed, and not really. And so that's why for me, I would never refer somebody that I didn't know for sure was going to be a great referral for somebody. I love connecting people and saying, look, here's specifically why, and I think you've benefited from this. Like, here's who specifically, and here's what you want to ask. Here's a little bit about each person, and here's why I think you're a good connection, right? Because I don't ever want to feel that way again, because it doesn't feel good to refer somebody that ultimately isn't somebody that I would even want to work with.
And you're absolutely right. I'm so glad you touched on that. And I've had, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but have you ever had a referral go bad?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what do you do when that happens?
Right. Yeah, it's really sensitive. So I'm a big believer in transparency and authenticity. And so I come from a place of gratitude. Like, thank you so much for referring this person to me. And then I do want them to understand why that referral wasn't necessarily a good one, because that's only the way to help them recalibrate. But coming from a place not of dissatisfaction, but really truthfully from a place of gratitude, because I really believe that there's no accidents in how people are connected. So the person that was a bad referral could have been given to teach me something, right? To help me with my boundaries, to help me further clarify, to speak more clearly, to really look at that 30-second message and make sure that I'm very clear about who I want to be connected with. So
that's great. I love that. So it comes back to educating the people that you network with, right, in a really good way, like helping them understand what it is that you do and how you serve your clients is so important. And I think that's a huge value when you understand that and you take the time to do it.
Right. So thank you for asking that question. Gosh, we're going way back. It's good stuff.
Oh, wow. So I guess, tell me, I know that you've got a lot going on right now and you kind of put the launch for Highlander Press on hold, but is there any specific projects that you're working on right now? You got any writing going on?
I do, in fact, because in addition to publishing other people and writing for other ghostwriting or helping edit books. I also have my own books in process, a novel that I've completed. I'm in hopefully the last revision.
Yay.
But I realized that one thing in just talking with people, like they want to write a book, but they don't have time. And so I thought, you know what? We are in this gift of lots of spaciousness in our schedules and time at home. And so I have started just holding out what I'm calling write-ins. We're having 2 hours once a week, and it changes on the day-to-day basis, or week-to-week basis, which day and what time, so we can get the most people. Completely free. Just show up. I have it on my Facebook page. We do it via Zoom. It's really super. You've been part of it. It's super laid back. Show up. We write, we check in, we celebrate, and we go about our way. And I have people, I've on average 12 to 14 people every time showing up, and they all love it. They're like, can we do this every day? Like, we're getting so much written. So
it's like a little writing room.
Yeah, it's like
together, and you're writing and giving a little bit of feedback.
Well, it's focused. It's very focused time. So that's just the beauty of what you can get. I had someone yesterday in the write-in said her goal was another 8 pages in her book. She's writing a book. She got 11 done in 2 hours. 11 pages written in 2 hours because she was focused, right? Yeah, so anyone can join. I have them scheduled weekly. I'm likely to extend it through at least the summer because, it's, again, come as you want, stay for as long as you want. It's just come.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. I'm so excited to share that. And yeah, so I'm going to make sure that I put your website and your Facebook page in the content below. So if anybody wants to connect with you, they can find you there.
Absolutely.
And be part of it. I'm going to let you go. I know you have more things to get done today. So thank you so much for being here with me. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. I really appreciate you. And this is such a great service that you're doing all of these interviews for your network and helping us really deeply connect with other people too. So thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm glad to do it. It's fun for me. I love sharing people.
I know you're great at it.
All right. So remember to subscribe to 30 Second Success Connect for more videos and share us with your friends. Thank you again to Debby Kevin for being here, Highlander Press. Make sure you connect with her on Facebook, LinkedIn, social media, and you'll find the information below. Thank you again for being here, and I will see you again.